Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. If you're listening to this on the radio and wish to watch it, please go to www.catex.com. As expected, the insurance rating agency AM Best knocked down Tower Insurance Group's A rating. Last night at about 5:30 p.m. after the markets closed, AM Best downgraded the financial strength of the troubled insurer following its $365 million claims reserve strengthening. AM Best lowered it from A- to B++. A- is regarded as the minimum rating required to write most casualty business in the U.S. This is a grave setback for Tower, especially at a time when the industry has abundant capacity and capital. The group is reviewing, quote, a range of strategic options now. This is at Tower, probably mostly including that of a sale. Some industry commentators said that it is really easy to under-reserve, which is what Tower had done. As Tower demonstrated, though, under-reserving always catches up with you in the end. There's been another deadly fire in Bangladesh in the garment industry there. This one has killed 10 people. This is now about 5 months after the fire at the Rana Plaza factory killed some 1,100 people, exposing unsafe conditions. This particular fire was at the Aswad garment factory outside Dhaka, killed 10 people, including the general manager. Bangladesh earns $20 billion a year from garment exports. The industry employs about 4 million workers, mostly women. Here's some bad news for reinsurance. Willis is saying that the increasing appetite of Berkshire Hathaway and the impact of broker facilities, as well as competition from Chinese insurers, is going to drive down most North American primary property insurance rates next year. This was a gloomy view that came out from a report from Willis. It's posted on their website. Alternative capital is largely focused on the natural catastrophe area, but Willis believes that that's quickly now going to metamorphosize and come into the commercial insurance sector, further knocking down rates. They believe that upward rate momentum will continue in the casualty lines. However, the property rates are going to drop. Morton Lane and Roger Beckwith out in Chicago come out regularly with very detailed mathematical reports on the industry. They came out with one yesterday saying that the speed of decline in insurance-linked security and cat bond rates accelerated during the third quarter of 2013. They say that prices for those products have dropped about 16% during the third quarter. Lane Financial also noted that the average rate online of ILS and cat bonds by their index now sits at 45% lower than at its all-time high point in mid-2009. That's a big drop. They too are being affected by all the capacity coming in. In the United States, we're in day 9 of the shutdown, and since it is in fact the 9th of October and the 17th of October is when the debt limit has to be increased or we begin to default, the two issues have now been conflated, the debt issue and the budget issue. The Republicans in the House are saying that voting on a clean debt limit would be, quote, unconditional surrender. The markets are beginning to become nervous, that the government could actually get very close to or go over the default line. The White House said that President Obama is going to nominate Janet Yellen to succeed Ben Bernanke as chairman of the Federal Reserve. She's in the same ideological camp as Mr. Bernanke, so they're not going to see any major changes there. Well, there was another gas line explosion in the U.S. last night, this one about 6 miles south of the Kansas line in Oklahoma. It was in a town of Roston in Harper County, Oklahoma. The gas line belongs to the Northern Natural Gas Company. It burned for about 10 hours. It had flames 600 feet high. No one was injured. Witnesses on the scene said that they thought a jet had crashed, and they said that the fire sounded like 4 roaring jet engines. And once again, if you look at a map of the United States and see where the gas pipelines are, you will be amazed. It's almost as if there are more of them than there are roads. At the Fukushima nuclear plant northeast of Tokyo, operated by Tokyo Electric Power Company, that was damaged after the earthquake and tsunami 2 years ago, 6 workers today were accidentally doused with highly radioactive water. They're going to be treated. The workers had removed the wrong pipe from equipment at the plant, sending the radioactive water spilling onto them. In order to keep the melted reactors cool, they must be continually doused with water. The water then becomes contaminated with radiation and has to be pumped out and stored at tanks on the site. We've noted this several times before. Over 500 storage tanks have been built on the site. They can't build the tanks fast enough in order to store the radioactive water. Millions of people in southeastern India have been facing widespread power blackouts after talks between the government and striking electricity workers failed. Today is the 6th consecutive day which millions are without power, as workers at a power plant in Andhra Pradesh protested last week's decision to divide Andhra Pradesh into 2 separate states. A new state would be formed called Telangana, and the workers are protesting their benefits and pay. Some 600,000 state government employees are striking. Hospitals, drinking water utilities, passenger trains, freight trains, mobile phone services, gas stations, and other businesses are affected by this. And if you're as old as I am, this actually would catch your attention. Taiwan's top financial regulator and the chief of China's Insurance Regulatory Commission are going to meet next week in Taipei to discuss topics such as widening access to each other's insurance markets. This would be the first such meeting of insurance regulators between the 2 countries. It's interesting because only 30-some years ago they were lobbing artillery shells at each other. It's interesting to see how things change. Good news. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.